Okay. Okay, you can start. Let's see. Later I'll log in and log out. I mean, log out and then log in. Yes, Nirmal.
What, ma'am? Should I present or you are
Yes, yes, present, present,
trying to
present,
re-log in?
present. No, no, no. I'll log out after some time. Just present it.
I did not heard your reply, ma'am.
Present it, Nirmal.
Present. Okay.
Yeah.
So the program was to find to which quadrant the point x and y belong. First, I created a class named point, and in that I have put one keyword pass, which will just simply pass the command, and these are the comments. And then I have defined one function named quadrant, in which x and y are the parameters, and I'm checking whether the parameters x and y, if x is greater than 0 and y is also greater than 0, then the point x and y is in the first quadrant. If x is less than 0, y is greater than 0, then second quadrant. X less than 0, y less than 0, third quadrant. Else the point x and y are in the fourth quadrant. Then I've created object of the class point name as p1 of p1, and then with that p1 I have used instance attributes. X is the one instance attribute and y is one instant attribute of the object p1. So in that I'm taking the x coordinate and y coordinate respectively, and then I'm just calling the function quadrant, passing x and y as a parameter.
Okay, Nirmal.
Yes, ma'am.
Why are you passing two arguments, p1.x and p1.y? You could have passed as a single argument, right?
What, ma'am?
Why should you pass two arguments, p1.x and p1.y? Why should you pass the instance attribute separately?
Yes, ma'am.
What should you do here? In the function quadrant, what you could have
Okay, in the function quadrant. Then, ma'am.
pass the entire object.
Pass entire object. You mean to
Yes,
say P1 I should pass over here?
yes, yes. That is the advantage of using objects, right? See, object is a collection
Oh,
of data members, isn't it?
okay, okay. You
Yes,
mean like this?
yes. So here you pass only P1 and then inside
And this.
access it. Here you should write, instead of X, what should you write? Yes, that is
Like this, you
the,
mean to say.
yes, this is how you are supposed to do. See, you can pass objects, you can pass
Yes,
instances.
ma'am. Ma'am, I thought of doing this, but like over here, when I'm writing P1 and then here also P1, that's okay, one
That's,
argument. But inside, then again P1 dot x, P1 dot
yes,
y,
it
four
is
times I
an,
need to write.
yes, yes, you have to write. There is no other option. You have to write.
No, ma'am, that was okay. So instead of writing like four times over here, just I'll write two times over here and then
No, 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 no.
works.
That will not
So
be a
thinking
concept
that
of
I did not write.
classes and objects. It will be normal program then, isn't it? Understand?
Okay, ma'am, I'll do that. What you
Okay,
said.
yes. So collectively, you are passing different data members through an object. Yes,
Is
fine.
it okay, ma'am, now?
Inside that also, print p1.x, p1.y you should put.
Oh, see, ma'am, so many changes. That's why simple X and Y work.
No, no, no. It is a class and an object. So you have now it is fine, but when you use inside a method and all, right, you have to do it in that way itself. Because there are some public variables, private variables, that time it will not be possible to access like that. Correct?
Is it okay, ma'am, now?
Yes, yes, run it.
Next.
Okay, fine. Good.
Should I
One thing
execute again?
no, not required. One thing what I would like to tell us, reading
Lot
also.
of
You
disturbance.
write. Okay. While reading also, you preferably write function. Okay. Preferably write function for reading also. Nirmal. Am I audible?
Not
Am I
audible,
audible?
ma'am, really. It's breaking too much.
Log out and then log in. Okay, I'll just log out.
Ma'am, you once try typing in chat box. Like, should I rerun again? Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay. Nirmal, stop presenting. Am I audible, Nirmal, for you now?
Hello, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's okay.
Yes. Okay, fine. Okay. Anybody has done any other program?
Should I rerun again, ma'am, or it's okay?
It's okay, yeah, it's okay, no problem. So try to implement using classes and the object concept, right? So we will discuss the other two programs in the next class. I want you people to do it on your own, okay? Fine. Use the concept of classes and the objects there. Right. Similarly here also, you have to read. Okay, I think I have to present. Presenting? Is my PPT screen visible, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Someone kindly. Okay. Fine. Okay. See the second program also, you should have point class and check whether the 3 points. So you should read 3 points, check whether they are collinear. Fine. And the third program also, right? You have to create a class called as arc length. Fine. Wherein the arc length objects have two attributes. What are the two attributes for arc length objects? What are the two attributes, students? Radius
Radius, angle.
and angle. Okay. They're the two attributes, instance attributes. Remember, I am talking about only instance attributes here. Then you should have one function. So I'm not even talking about method. I'm talking about a function which calculates the arc length of an angle. So there's a formula on the net. How do you calculate arc length of an angle if you don't remember the previous mathematics sections? So you can just find out the formula and calculate the same. So you have to pass the objects, right? Don't pass separately as Nirmal did now, passing X and Y separately. You can pass the entire object, which is collection of datas. Is that clear, students? Has anybody done it? Has anybody done it by mistake? No? Yes or no? Students? I myself should understand. It is no. Nobody has done? About our IS students? Nancy, Vandana, Sharanya,
No, ma'am, I didn't done.
you didn't do it. Why? Parvati, Sahana, most of the time you people keep doing. Saundarya. Okay, we will discuss it tomorrow. Tomorrow I will make sure you do it and then come so that we discuss. Okay, so today's class, so the recap of what we had done in the last class, I told you about how to create a class, different types of attributes, how we can pass the objects or the instances as the parameters to my functions. Okay, and an assignment which we had seen. The agenda for today's classes, I'll be dealing another class called as a rectangle. We'll see why I need to create a class called as a rectangle there. Then you can also return the instances as return values. That means objects. So instance is a alias to the objects, okay, as return values. Then objects are mutable. So the statement itself tells objects can be modified or not modified after their creation.
Can be modified.
You can modify the objects, means to say the data values can be modified. That's what I mean to say there. Then how exactly you copy the objects? Okay, then the assignment followed with that. Right. So before I go for this particular aspect, okay, let us say what are the attributes for the class so called as a rectangle? Okay, so usually if I tell you create a class for a rectangle, what attributes comes to your mind? What attributes comes to your mind? What are the attributes, students?
Length and breadth.
Length and the breadth, right? So I want to design a class to represent the rectangles, but with few criterias. What I just mentioned is I want to know the attributes which gives me the location the size of the rectangle. I want the locations in sense where exactly your rectangle is present within my coordinate system. That means to say I want to know the corner points. How many corner points rectangle will have? How many corner points?
4.
Students, don't tell me. 4. I want to know what are those 4 points and size. When I tell size, obviously it is length and the breadth. So, or I can use width and the height concept, right? So, when I tell you this is my criteria, there are 2 possibilities as of now. At least I am telling. One possibility is specify one corner of the rectangle, okay, or the center. So one corner. So any one corner, if you specify, can I get the other 3 corners? Can I get the other 3 corners, students? Yes or no? If I specify for a rectangle, leftmost corner, bottom leftmost corner, can I get all other corners in the coordinate system? Right? So by adding the respective length and the breadth, I can get it. So I'll tell you how it is. And width and the height. This is one way. The second way is specifying 2 opposing corners. Okay. So with these 2 approaches, I find the first one to be more easier and easily approachable. So I'll specify one corner of the rectangle and the height and the width. Okay. So I will now create a rectangle class which is having the following data members, that is my attributes, that is width and the height of the rectangle, that is my assumption, and one corner point. So what is this one corner point? Which is in the coordinate system. So I am using ideally bottom left corner. Suppose say I have, this is the rectangle. Okay, I will take the bottommost corner, x comma y. So this is the bottom leftmost corner for me. I have taken this as my input. The other input is width and the height. So I will consider this as the width and this as the height. Taking a corner point, right? So I need to now create one more class. Which class should I create to represent a corner point? Which class?
Point.
Along with rectangle point class. Okay. So you can just see now here. You can just see now here, right? So I will now create a rectangle object which has got three attributes. One is the width, one is the height, and next is a corner attribute, which in turn is an object of which class, students? Can you see the object diagram? Corner is an intern attribute, sorry, it is intern object of which class, students? It is an object of which class? Can you see? It is an object of which class, ma? Point class, which has two attributes, x and y. Understanding? So now box is an object of rectangle class, wherein rectangle has three attributes. Width and height is your normal float value, but corner is an object of which class, students? The point class. Try to remember. So now with this object diagram, what conveys here is an attribute can be any attribute of a class, can be what? Can
An
be what,
object.
students? An object of another class. That's possible, right? Any attribute can act as an object of the other class. So that's the reason we have taken this example. So it is possible to make an object of one class as an attribute to the other class, or an attribute of one class can be an object of the other class. No issues. I can easily do it. Okay. So now let us design the class rectangle. So as of now, as I told you, I am dealing with only instance attributes. So I create class rectangle. I have a doc string telling my rectangle object consists of attributes, width, height, and the corner. So there are three attributes here, right? Now, obviously, since if I have to use this rectangle object, or sorry, the rectangle class, I have to instantiate that rectangle object. So how do I instantiate it? How do I instantiate? Say the name is box. How do I create an object box of class rectangle? What is the statement, students? What is the
Box
statement?
is
How do I create an
equals to
object of any class?
rectangle colon.
Rectangle, open brace, close brace. Box is equal to rectangle, open brace, close brace. Can you see? First statement. Instantiation is attributes. What are the attributes that I have? I have three attributes. Remember, corner is an object of which class? Which class? Corner is an object of which class, students?
Point.
Speak out. Point class, isn't it? So it is an object of the point class. So let us now initialize it. Right now, I don't have a read method, read function and all, just I'm initializing normally. So box dot width is 100, box dot height is 200, box dot corner is, can you observe this now? What is box dot corner? What is box dot corner? Corner is what now? Object of which class?
Point class.
So I should create instance of a point class. So that is box dot corner. Why did I write box dot corner? Because corner is inside the box object. Try to understand, right? See, the state diagram gives you the correct picture. Corner is inside the box and X is inside the corner. Corner is inside the box, isn't it? Right? So now, see here. Now corner is an object of which class? Point class. So I should now initialize X and Y. So how do I access X and Y which is in corner object? How do I write that? How do I access X and Y which is in corner object, students? How do I write that? How do I access it? Speak out.
Box
So if
dot
I initialize
corner
A,
dot x.
dot x. So there are two dot operators. Why? Because x, which is present in corner, corner is present in my box. So within the object, you have another object, isn't it? So you should write two dot box dot corner dot x, box dot corner dot y. Is that clear? So the design is done. So now rectangle class is defined, is instance attributes is defined, which is an object of some other class, and we have assigned also. We have assigned the values. I mean, you're getting the concepts here, students? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when I write box dot corner dot x means go to the object box, then select the attribute named corner, then go to the object corner, select the attribute named x. That's what it means to say. So within the box there is a corner, within the corner there is a x. Fine. Now we have created all these things. So we will write one small program. So write a class rectangle which contains the attributes width and height, and also it should contain one more attribute corner, which is an instance of another class called as a point. This is your exam program actually, which was asked in your previous exams. Very simple. Next, I should implement the following functions. So I am not bothered about methods. Methods are defined where, students? Methods are defined where? Methods are what? Which are defined where?
Inside the class.
Methods are present where, students? Speak out. Inside the class. Right now, I am writing only functions which are outside the class. Right now, the class body is empty. I have not introduced anything inside my class. Remember. Okay. I want two functions. Sorry, I think three functions. One function is to print the corner point as an ordered pair, like you write in mathematics, that is in small parenthesis x comma y, that we have already done that. Next, I should have a function find underscore center. Okay, this is a function that I should create. So as the name indicates, find underscore center should now compute center point of the rectangle. So it should give me what is the center point of the rectangle. So which point I have given here, which corner point I have given in my example? What is the corner containing? Which corner of your rectangle? Speak up.
Leftmost.
The leftmost, bottom leftmost, isn't it? So using that, I should find the center of the rectangle. Let's see how do we find. The last one is a function resize, which will modify the size of the rectangle. Means to say, modifying the size means changing the height and the width. Okay. So moving on to the second function, find center. Can you all see this example and tell me how do I calculate the center? The bottom leftmost is given to me. Right? This is your x coordinate, this is your y coordinate. How do I calculate the center, students? This is your x, this is your y. Somewhere it is located. Let's not worry. This is the bottommost leftmost point. So how do I get the center of the rectangle? Could you see the formula? This is the center, right? Yes or no? What is the formula, students, to get the center of the rectangle given x and y, which is the bottommost corner? Left bottommost corner. I should increment the x coordinate by how much? Students?
Half of the height and width.
Yes. So x plus half of the width. So if I assume this is my width, this is my height, okay, of the rectangle. This is h, and this is W. If I take, so x will move forward by how much? Half of the width. Why do I take half of the width, not 60%, 70% like that? Why should I take half? Why should I take half, students? Center means what? Center means what? It divides the rectangle into how many portions?
2.
2 equal portions, isn't it? That's the reason x should now be updated as the center should be now x plus half of the width. And what is the y coordinate of my center point? Y plus what, students? Y plus
Half of height.
half of the height. Okay. See, this is the formula to find the center of the rectangle provided I give left bottom corner. So suppose say I'm giving this corner, then what will be the center? Suppose I'm giving this corner. What will be the center then? What is the x coordinate of the center? X should move forward, right? If this is the point given to me, say it is x comma y, what should be the center point using this? Students.
X plus half of width and y minus half of height.
Half of height. Okay, see it varies. See if this is depends on the corner which point you are taking. It depends on the corner point. So if I take top leftmost, x plus half of the width and y will move down. See it is y is coming down for me. I mean the center point I have to take y minus half of the height. This point, what should I give? What should I give if I take this point? X minus, what should I
X minus
give?
half of width and y minus half of
If I
height.
take this point as half of width and x minus half of height. I think both should be minus, isn't it? Yes or no? X will
Yes,
move
ma'am.
towards this side and y will move towards down for me for the center. Yes. So like this, you can calculate the center point. So as of now, for my example or the point which I have taken, the corner point is my bottom leftmost. So it is similar to this bottom leftmost I have taken. So if x coordinate moves forward and y coordinates also moves forwards my center. How much forward it moves? Half of the width, half of the height. Is that clear, students? Yes or no? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And now, to define the function, okay, I should values. Okay. Let us see how do I return the objects from my functions that I write. So you know that objects can be passed as parameters. Similarly, you can return also, right? Return value can be an object. Okay. So we assume that now the find center will take one argument. What does that one argument it takes? I should find center of the rectangle. So what argument does it take, students? Argument is of type what? Argument is of type what, students? Int. The argument is of type what? Find center will find center of the rectangle. Isn't it? See here. Where is the question? Find center should now find the center point of the rectangle. So what argument does it take? It takes one argument which is of object of the class rectangle. Yes? Right? And then see, when I calculate the center, center is also made up of what coordinates? It is made up of what coordinates? X and y coordinates. So when it is x and y, your center point is also an object of which class? It is an object of which class?
Class rectangle.
No, center point. Center point is Object of which class?
Point.
Point class. So you should now see, this is the creativity of the programmer. I'm telling you, any program that comes to your pocket, you have to design it on your own. Yes. So 1 second. You should be able to design what is the argument, what is the return value, how should I compute, all those things. What happened? It's not responding. One second, yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Now the function takes one argument which is of type rectangle, and what is the return value? Return value is an object of which class? Return value, computing the center, it is an object of which class? Center
Point.
point. Okay, so keeping this in mind, we have to now design the, something is wrong. We have to design the keeping this in mind, is this visible, ma'am? Is this visible? Ideally, screen is visible for you.
Yes, ma'am. Now it is visible.
Yes. So keeping that in mind, I should now find the center functions, design the center functions the body of the center function. Find center function body has to be designed. So I have just designed this in this way: def find center. So it will take one object, one argument, which is an object of rectangle class. So we don't know what it takes. So I have given the name as RECT. Anyways, we don't give data types, isn't it, in Python? I have just given a name. So below to that, you should follow this kind of a syntax. Below to that, write a doc string telling what your function is doing. Point, right, at the rectangle. So I am now finding a point which is at the center of the rectangle. Center point I am just finding. So rect, the argument which I give here, is now what object, students? What object is that? What object is that? Rect is what object? Object of which class?
Rectangle.
Speak out. Rectangle. And the function returns, yes, the function returns for me one new point object. And what that new point object denotes? What does it denote? New point object denotes what? Speak out. The new point object denotes what in my function? The return value. What does it represent? Don't know. What does it represent? Students?
Object of class.
The new point object which you create in find. Okay, what does it denote? What does it represent? If I'm returning a new point object, what does it represent in my program? Center of the rectangle, isn't it? Now, as we know, we are storing the center of the rectangle in a point object. First, let me create one point object. What is that? P. So if you don't want to give P, you give center. Let us be more particular. Center. Center is equal to point. So what is the center to be now? Center is in what?
Object.
Center is in what, students?
Object of class point.
Point. which holds now the center point of the rectangle. So remember, see, you could have written x comma y, but I don't want now the normal variables. I want in terms of class. That's the reason we are doing this. Next, I should now get the value of center, the x coordinate and y coordinate. So what should I write here? What should I write here?
Center dot
Center dot
X.
what, students? So how do I get the x coordinate of center? What is the formula? What is the formula that we saw?
X
What is the formula that we saw, students, in the figure? X plus
half of width.
width divided by half of the width. So how do I get x? X means what there? Corner's x point, isn't it? So how do I get corner which is present in my rectangle? So how do I get the object is RECT? So what should I write here? RECT dot, what should I write? RECT, isn't it? See, try to understand, students. This is in the corner attribute of class rectangle. So how do I access that? Corner attribute. How do I access that? Whatever is the object name, RECT, then dot corner, then corner dot X. Yes or no? Are you understand? Reply required. Students,
Yes,
am
ma'am.
I audible? Okay. So to access X of my corner point, which is present in the object RECT, so what should I do? RECT dot corner dot X. Are you understanding? Because corner point is in my rectangle object. That name is RECT. That argument name. Plus, how do I access width? How do I access width? Half of the width. Again, width should be accessed by which argument again? Which argument, students? Students, which argument? What is the name of the argument?
Rect.
Object. Rect dot width divided by 2.0, or you can just give a divided by 2, no harm. Okay. Similarly, how do I update center's y coordinate? Center dot y is equal to RECT dot corner dot y plus RECT dot height divided by 2. Then return what? What should I return now? Return what?
Center.
What, students? The center. Center is having an object of point class which has got two attributes, x and y. Very simple as it is. Try to understand the concepts there. Okay, let me just execute and just show you this. Okay, see. Okay, what have I given for the, I think I have given origin as my point. Can you see? The corner point is now x is 0, y is also 0. It is what point? It is in the origin. My rectangle is at the origin. So what is my center? What will be my center point? X coordinate of my center point. 0.
0.
Plus half of width. What is the center point? X coordinate.
0.
Center point. Center point will be 0. Corner point is 0, 0. Then what is your center point, students? What is your center point here? See, this is 0, 0. Okay. Width is 100 and height is 200. So what is my center point? What is my center point now?
50,
50,
100.
100.
What will be my center points? X, Y get now. So that is 0 plus half of width. Then again 0 plus half of the height. Depends, right? Depends on the corner point. So if I execute that program, which is having the corner point as 0, 0, width is 100, height is 200, execute. Obviously, my center point should be now 50, 100. Can you observe that? It is 50, what, students?
100.
Right? Suppose say I give something else here. Okay, say the corner point here is, say for example, something like 10, and here say it is 20. So what is the answer? 10 and 20 means what? What is the center point now? 10 plus 50, 20 plus 100. Yes, can you see? 60 and 120. Understanding? Am I? Yes or no, students?
Yes, ma'am.
So see, you can now see that here the find center takes one argument which is of type rect, right? Which is an object of class rectangle. It now creates one new point object. Why it creates new point object? Because center is also represented as x and y. To represent x and y coordinates, we have point class. So now how do you calculate that? Rect.corner.x and width, and rect.corner.y, rect.height. See, remember, you cannot access width and height as it is without this. Can you access this? Without this, can you access? Yes or no? Without
No.
rect, no. If you try to give it, say you miss it, what will be the error? What error do you find if you miss this? The Python will think these two are new entities. It is not
Name
present. Yes, name error. It is not defined using before definition, right? So in order to call this function, you should pass an argument which is of class of object rectangle, yes, and this returns the center, which is now the return value. Center is now object of class point. That's what I want to give here. Instances can be returned from the functions, no problem. You can return it, fine, right? The next is about objects are mutable, means to say objects can be modified once they are created. So let me do something like this. So I am changing the size of the rectangle without changing its position. That means to say, I don't want to change its position. Let the position be as it is. I want to change the size. Size in sense, I want to increase the height or decrease the width, anything I want to do. Okay. So like if I want to do that, again, I'll design one function, right? Which does this task to me. So what am I trying to do here? What am I trying to do in these two statements? Can anybody guess? I'm increasing the width by how much?
50.
50. I'm also increasing the height by 100.
100.
Decrease, increase, you can do, but position is the same. I'm not changing position. Only the height and width I'm just changing. Okay. Now we can write functions for the same, right? So the function name I have selected is grow rectangle, wherein it takes 3 arguments. One is rectangle object, the object which you want to modify, and 2 numbers. 2 numbers are what? D width and D height. That is the increment or decrements of your height and the width. Okay. So see the definition. Is it correct? Is the definition correct now? What is rect? Rect is what, students?
Object of class rectangle.
Rectangle which has to be modified. Simply you will not pass. There is something to be done within the function with respect to the object. I want to do something. Earlier what I did, I calculated center point using the corner point. Now what I'll do, I'll update. So d width and d height are my normal numbers. So I will update rect dot width and rect dot height. Will it get updated with the respective values? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So now just assume that before updating, I'm printing, right? Width and the height. Can you see what it printed? 150 and 300. Assuming width is 150, height is 300. Next, I'll call this function passing box as my argument 50, 100. Now, what is the width now? Updated width.
200.
200 and height is 400. Now the next question comes. See, I passed box. Yes. In my function, it is rect. Are rect and box different objects? Or they are pointing to the same object? Are they different or they are same? Students, yesterday I showed you. Are they same or different? Students, it is passed by value or passed by reference? At least that you can tell me.
Passed by reference.
Passed by reference. That means to say rect and box, they are different objects or pointing to the same object. Are they different objects or pointing to the same object where box is pointing to?
Pointing to the same object.
Same object. Means to say here now, I can tell that rect is an alias to which object? Alias to which object, students?
Box.
Box. It is an alias. Alias means to say what? A person having different names. Okay. So if I call ABC with his pet name, that is his name. It is an alias to the box argument. 2 minutes more. Okay. Okay. So alias to this argument, right? So see, now you can observe when I write rect dot width and rect dot height, it means it is accessing what? Internally, it means it is accessing box dot width and
box dot
height. It's an alias. It is same. Right? But since I've passed, I have to pass this, isn't it? That's by pass by reference. So remember, rect is an alias for box. So when the function modifies rect, box also changes. Otherwise, suppose if this was not an alias, do you think these changes will be reflected in box?
No, ma'am.
No, it will not reflect because they are two different objects. So whatever changes you do with rect, that will vanish once the function terminates, isn't it? So this wouldn't have happened. So remember, when we pass objects as parameters, they are just an alias. It is not a separate object, just an alias. So whatever modification you do inside the function, that will reflect to the original object. That's what I mean to say. Yes, students? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Take the snap. I'll share these 2 assignments to you. Okay. Time up. I'll just show you the execution of this program too. See here. Grow rectangle. So it has got 3 arguments, which goes like this. Modifies the rectangle by adding its width and the height. Rect is a rectangle object. D width is the change in the width. You can give negative if you want to reduce it, right? Change in the height is d height. Rect dot width plus equals to d width. Rect dot height plus equals to d height. Okay. See now, width and height are what now? 100 and 200. So I am calling the function with 50 and 100. So what is the updated width of box? What will be the updated width of box after growing?
150 and
150
300.
and 300. Okay. So if you see here, can you see that? Earlier it was 100, 200. After growing, it will become 150, 300. Yes, this is how this is how it goes with the program. Is that clear? Is that clear, students? I hope it is clear to you all. If you have any doubts, we'll clarify in the next class. Okay? Is it clear? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Try to, because I don't think so this is a new concept to you all, because you've already learned. Okay, now for the same program, you have to write a name, function named as move rectangle. That was grow rectangle, this is move rectangle. What does it do? It takes again three arguments, rectangle, and a value called as dx and dy. Okay, so what is the dx and dy is? Right, changing the location of the rectangle, dy to y coordinate of the corner. Can you do it? Try doing it. Will you all try? Corner
Yes,
value
ma'am.
should now update. X plus dy, y plus dy. So how do you access corner? You should know. How do you access corner? What should I write here, students? If I'm updating, what should I write here? How do I access x coordinate of corner?
Corner dot x.
How do I write dot? Corner dot x. So corner dot x. What should you write here? Rect dot? Corner dot?
Y.
This is now, as per my program, this is dx and this is dy. Yes? Yes or no, students? It will manipulate the corner point. See, that's the reason I'm not returning updated, because rect is an alias to my passed argument. So I need not have to return it. Yes? Yes, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Try doing the second. We will see how far you can do it. And I think this you must try. Okay, you should define a class called as a complex with the attributes, real and imaginary parts, 2 attributes. You should write functions for finding sum, difference, and product of 2 complex numbers. So when I tell complex numbers, they are all the objects there. Yes or no? Can you do it? Yes or no, students? Yes, no, nothing is there. Students,
Yes, ma'am.
reply. Okay. Try doing it. Fine. We will see. We will discuss. Don't get panic as it's something new. But try doing it. Only that is a solution to the problem. You have to try. Without trying, you will not get anything. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay, students. Shall we leave for the day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 2 questions I have. Can I pass objects as parameters?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So when I pass